welcome everybody to this edition of Trowel Time, coming to you from our beautiful campus here in Alma, Michigan. Garden spot of the state in its wonderful color of pre-spring brown. Good to have everybody here. Good to welcome you to our show. As always, in the back, behind the scenes, is Ben Tigner working the cameras.
Hey, Ben!
Thank you, Ben. Over at the podium, Darren Thompson, keeping us straight with our mailbag and questions and all kinds of stuff going on, upcoming events. On the couch, and that's where they need to be, is Tom Braun, our grand lecturer. Tom, welcome.
Nice to be here. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you. Good to have you. And, of course, Bill Finkel, our grand secretary, past grand master.
Good to be
Bill,
here, Bob.
thanks for being here.
Yeah.
You bet. We actually do have an audience today, which is very rare. Many have asked, few have been allowed. But so we want to say thank you to Tammy Dankenbrink. Tammy is the events coordinator
Tammy!
here. And does a great job for us. So thank you, Tammy, for being with us. And Chris from Owasso brought us donuts today.
Hey,
So Chris, thanks for being here. Always a pleasure.
Wow.
Always a pleasure to have Chris with us. So, getting close to spring. Well, spring sprung, but it was kind of flat, right? It's cold out today.
Yeah.
Mother
but the
Nature's
sun is
still in
out.
charge.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, the sun is out, and it's a nice day, and it's warm in here, so we're doing good. Bill, what's happening on the fraternal world?
Well, the first thing I want to talk about, Bob, is the event we had on Sunday.
Yeah, it's a great time.
The formal union of Grand Lodge of Michigan and Prince Hall. We had a banquet, and it was just tremendous. You've often said, Bob, what you feel like when you leave a meeting feeling good.
Yeah.
It was a good meeting. Well, I felt good about that whole evening on Sunday. It was great.
Yeah. It was
Great
a
thing we
nice
did.
night. So, many years ago, 1997, we actually adopted a resolution that granted mutual recognition to Prince Hall Grand Lodge in Michigan and the Grand Lodge of Michigan. And but nothing was ever done. We never signed anything. We never had a formal signing of any instruments. We just kind of did it. So Grandmasters Abatico and Walker decided that it was time that we pull something together, and Tammy was instrumental in that. Dirk did a great job with his history of Michigan Grand Lodge. Harry from Prince Hall did a great job on their part, and everybody just did. It was a wonderful evening. It really was. Don Boyer's speech was
outstanding.
I think was the best one.
Inspiring.
Yeah, it was. So Don was one of the originators of recognition back in 1993, I think it was, and so there were very few in that room who had been there at the start, which was then, been there at the passing of the resolution, which was in '97, and then with us on Sunday evening, and I was at all of that. I still remember it. It was an amazing time, and but it was great to be there. Good to have that.
Yep.
That evening. It was a lot of fun.
Yep, and everybody had a good time.
Yeah, food was great.
Mhm.
Detroit Masonic Temple did a fantastic
Absolutely.
job. Yeah, just a great night. Food was good. Booze was good.
Oh. Yes, it was.
It was. It was. It's always good.
Getting in was a little problem because I got there before the end of the parade.
Yeah, and you just left your car out on the street. It really is a miracle that it's still within your possession.
Well,
but-
I tell you, I got in the temple eventually, and I had my car keys, and Ryan Grote, the manager of the facility, says, "Give me those," and he took my keys. Karen says, "Where's our car?" So I have no idea. And he came and gave me a little pink slip later, and so.
Yeah, we stayed downtown at the Book Cadillac, and beautiful hotel, absolutely gorgeous. And I parked down there and Ubered it up, and that for me was the way to go.
Smart move.
Yeah, because it was packed.
Oh yeah.
That was the Nain Rouge.
I was just looking it up.
Yes.
March du Nain Rouge.
Yes. So the Red Dwarf. And Red Dwarf caused a lot of mischief in Detroit. If you want to look him up, go ahead. But anytime that some calamity has befallen Detroit, the Nain Rouge has been seen. And this is not superstition now. This is fact. I'm not going to be the one to say I don't believe in the Nain Rouge. So in the Red Dwarf, but look it up online. Anyway, they had a big parade
Right.
and kind of festival. It's very kind of Mardi Gras-ish,
Right.
I guess I'll call it. Yeah. And they had some of those folks were in the temple, and
A lot of
a lot of them, and having a party. So it was fun. It was a great day.
The after party was in the fountain ballroom. We were in the Crystal, but Ben and I were commenting, if you went in the hallway, you could hear their party just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
But when we were in the Crystal, you could barely hear it.
I couldn't hear a
was-
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, of course, the booze was good, so that's probably what. But in any case, it was fun. Great day. Last 2 weeks ago, I guess it was, we had the Spring into Leadership event here in the chapel. It was another great day. We had, 100 people show up, and we talked about leadership, and Danny Myers did a great program. Darren and Grant did a great program on communication. Danny talked about generations inside the fraternity. Ryan Binkley did a great program for us on ritual, and it was a good day.
Conley did a great program on leadership.
Well, we did kind of a fake Trowel time, so it was fun. But, all of the Grand Lodge support team was there, the foundation, Patty Nowak with Outreach and Member Care, Dirk from the museum was there. We had just a great time. The home was there, so we had a good time and got a lot of education out with that.
Yeah, it's good.
With that, coming up in April, we have 3 leadership classes. Darren, you going to talk about those during our upcoming things?
I'll mention the dates and places, but if you want to talk a little bit about the program.
Well, yeah, so we're going to talk about leadership. The fraternity rises or falls on leadership, and if we have worshipful masters that are good servant leaders, then their lodges will be good servant lodges. There'll be places where Masons and their families and the communities that they exist in are supported and grow better because of our presence. And we want to help you do that. So that's what we have 3 scheduled for the month of April. We hope that you'll be able to attend. Darren will fill you in on the details and show you how to get registered for those. You really need to take the time. It's, we start the program at 10. We have a little something for you at 9. But we start at 10. We have lunch for you. You're out the door at 3. So it's not like it's killing the whole day. Take the time. Leadership doesn't happen daily. It happens every day. You have to work at it. It's not an event. It takes time to do it. So take some time. We've got some great handouts for you, good programs, good information, and I know that you'll walk away better than you did when you came. If you don't, you tell me, and we'll make it right. But I guarantee you'll be better off for it. So they'll be in the southwest corner of the state. We don't often get down that way. So this one is for those lodges down in the southwest corner. Come to it. It's in St. Joe. Then we're having one up in Flint, area by the airport.
Yep, April 12th in Flint.
And then we're up in Lincoln, way up in a beautiful part of the state that a lot of people don't get to visit, but go up to Lincoln, Alcona Lodge, great lodge in Lincoln. Beautiful piece of country up there, so one of my favorite places. All right. Bill, what else happening in the fraternal world?
Well, yes, it's 990 season,
Yes.
per capita season. So I thought next year I'm just going to send a list of excuses out and say pick one that applies to your lodge.
Yeah, there you go.
Because Darren and I have heard them all.
Proactive,
Yeah.
yeah.
The latest one we got, which Darren called me, they just changed the figure from last year. Sent last year's in with a different figure on the end of it, and hoping we wouldn't catch it.
Yeah.
They are creative, these people. I'm telling you, they're
Lodge
creative.
secretaries, very creative people. That's why they have that job. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we love them.
we have a couple left. One of them, and it's another topic you and I have talked about, would have been avoided if the lodge had an assistant secretary.
Mm-hmm.
That comes up over and over again. You need more than one person to be able to find stuff, to know where this stuff,
Yeah.
and it would make it a whole lot easier on the lodge and on the secretary.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and it gives you some bench, right?
yep.
The problem in
absolutely.
our lodges is we don't have any depth on our bench, and the minute that something happens to one, it significantly impacts the ability of the lodge to survive.
Yeah.
We've said it before. I can recite dozens of lodges that have gone under
Yeah.
because the secretary had some malady, might have moved out of state or passed away or whatever it might be. And so for heaven's sakes, don't even appoint. Just ask somebody to help the secretary. Do some things in the computer
Yeah.
if a secretary isn't computer savvy, and just get some help. It's okay. It really is.
Yeah, it would help everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for everything you do, Bill. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break. Darren's going to talk to you about things in the store, and we'll be right back. Bye-bye.
Are you looking for the latest Masonic apparel, materials, and literature from the craft? Look no more. At MichiganMasonicStore.com, you can find everything from hats and shirts to tumblers, blankets, and books. Our shirts come in a range of sizes and with logos and branding custom stitched for the Michigan Masons. Don't wait. Visit MichiganMasonicStore.com now.
And we're back. Some good side conversations going on there. Welcome back. Tom, how's everything going in our ritualistic world?
Well, we're doing real well, Bill.
All right.
And the one of the things that I'd like the DDIs and the worshipful masters do is to concentrate on, if they don't have a candidate, schedule a practice. Let your officers get some work done. Okay? Because it's all about the candidate, who should be our focus, in enhancing his experience.
Mm-hmm.
On the 19th of April, we are going to be doing the state competition for the Ritualist program. And it's going to be done here at the Alma Lodge. We're excited about doing that.
Oh, yeah.
And shortly after that, we'll be doing the filming of our virtual EA study guide.
Okay.
So we've got a lot of people that are excited, that are already committed to coming. And King Solomon's Club is going to take a big role. And so we'll be happy to have those guys in attendance. That's about it that I have.
Yeah. Well, we're coming up on Grand Lodge
Right.
session, right? So everything kind of starts working up to that. Lodges will be having their legislative meetings in April. Boy, we're close. We're 7 weeks out.
Yeah,
now, right?
the last thing that you mentioned sparked an idea here is the correction in ritual for the degree work should not be done at the degrees. If you see something that needs attention, pull the individual, whether it be a warden or the master or the deacon, pull them aside after the degree and talk to them then. That's why we have lodges of instructions. Your wardens, your deacons, and the masters should attend those lodges of instruction.
Absolutely.
That's where you're going to see the reasons we do things in our jurisdiction for each degree, and the right place to ask the question.
Yeah.
So you
absolutely.
don't want, hey, you, come here, I want to talk to you.
That happens
Yeah.
all
Can't do
the time.
that.
Yeah, I think all of us have fond memories of getting yelled at by elder
We do.
members of our lodges as we were younger people going through things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it still goes on, and I don't know that there's anything we'll ever do to stop that, but
If we're more conscious about it, we have an
correction is
option.
different than discipline. So,
There you go.
yeah.
It's a fun night, Tom. Putting all the stations in a hat and let them pick
Let them
out,
pull it out.
Oh, yeah.
pick one out.
And see how
pick
good they are.
whatever you pick out, that's
That's
what
a
you
great
do that
idea.
night. It's a lot of fun.
We've
Lot of
we've got 3 districts that get together for their lodges of instruction, and then each DDI will take a portion of that degree that they're covering, and each one has an opportunity to talk, and we'll have 60, 70 guys at those lodges of instruction. So that's something the craft can use. The DDIs can check within their region, within their district, and follow that example.
Yeah, good stuff. All right,
And,
and your regionals and DDIs will have a meeting with you up at Grand Lodge session,
They
correct?
will.
Yeah.
Right.
So that Monday morning, you guys will get together and,
Correct.
yeah, okay. Can I go in there and yell at you guys when you screw something up?
Sure,
All
you're
right.
welcome, because we'll shut the
Kind
door
of,
when you get in.
All right.
Kind of tying into that, just a reminder that April, there's been a couple that have happened, but mostly in April there will be BGP and DDI elections happening for 1/3 of the districts around the state. So
Right.
most of them happen in April. So if it's your district that's up, think about throwing your hat in the ring.
Yeah,
We can always use more guys, more.
can. Have to be a
Absolutely.
fast master, but other than that,
I think this year
Absolutely.
it's 2, 5, 8, and on up by
so on.
threes.
Yeah, okay. Good, thank you
Great.
for that. And with that, we're going to stay with Darren. And Darren, what do you have for upcoming events?
All right, upcoming events. April 5th, Saturday, April 5th, there is a joint Master Mason degree happening at the Detroit Temple in the Greek Ionic Room. Those of you that attended the EA and Fellowcraft joint degrees know those were very well attended and well done. This will be no different. Saturday, April 5th at the Detroit Temple, joint Master Mason degree with Prince Hall, 12 p.m. gather, 1 p.m. gavel. And Tom, do you want to mention who's doing which parts?
Well,
or-
the Grand Lodge of Michigan will be performing the first part of the degree, and we have split up the furthers on those obligations, so members of both the Prince Hall Grand Lodge and members of the Grand Lodge of Michigan will have an opportunity to present one of the furthers. So, and then Prince Hall will do the lectures charge and the second section.
Okay.
Excellent.
Be fun.
Okay, the leadership classes we talked about are April 5th in St. Joe at the Boulevard Inn, April 12th in Flint at the Wyndham Bishop Airport, kind of at the confluence of 75 and 23, and then April 26th at Alcona Lodge 292. Registration for those is in your Hiram's Herald. I just sent links out to all the lodges yesterday in your email. It's also on the Grandview calendar and in the MichiganMasons.org event registration. So there's any number of places you can find it. If you can't, give us a call. We'll
And it's
get you
on the
registered.
calendar on the website too. So MichiganMason.org,
Yes.
Grand Lodge calendar and events or whatever that is.
Right.
Just click on the date. Yeah. So it's
Yep.
all there too. Yeah. All right. Good.
Okay, great.
And then annual communication we talked about, just a reminder, May 19th and 20th at the Soaring Eagle. Registration is open. Again, you can find registration links pretty much the same places I mentioned, both on the website and in Grandview. The Grandview will route you to Eventbrite to get registered. The codes have been sent out to the respective delegates and district officers. If you're not one of those, you can just use Mason 25
Okay.
to get signed up. And then just a reminder locally here, we'll give a shout out to Ithaca Lodge 123. If you're cruising by on a Wednesday morning, stop by every Wednesday. They started a community coffee about a year ago. It's grown from about 4 guys to about anywhere from 18 to 35 any given Wednesday.
Yeah. There's
Both
usually
lodge
about
members
30
in the
there.
community. They've
Great
got
idea.
some,
Yeah. They have to kick them out.
yeah,
Yeah.
goes till about 10-ish, but
11.
sometimes it's gone till 11, noon.
11. Yep. They
So-
have coffee, donuts.
Yeah, stop by and see the good brothers at Ithaca 123 every
Absolutely.
Wednesday morning.
Great.
And that'll do it for upcoming events.
And that's it. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I know there's a lot of stuff going on. You know, Darren hits the highlights, but always stay in touch with the calendar. Stay in Grandview. You know, use it on your phone, and you'll always be in touch. So, all right, we'll be right back after this announcement, and Darren will be with us for our mailbag. Be right back.
Every day we make choices. Choices to help ourselves, choices that help those around us. When it's time to make a choice about your senior living options, consider Masonic Pathways. We offer choices for entertainment, socialization, and most importantly, choices that make life easier for you. When it's time to discuss choices in your life, make Masonic Pathways your first choice and contact our care team today.
All right, welcome back, everybody. While we were talking, there is also at Grand Lodge Session that Sunday.
Sunday, May 18th is the annual golf outing
Right,
at the Polecat.
right.
Registration for that is open as well on the website and in Grandview. You can find that in the advance notices how to sign up.
All right.
Okay.
And it is also coming up to be golf outing season around the state. So if you've got an event going for your lodge, send me the flyer. We'll have a little golf corner in the news
Yeah.
every week, and we'll get them on the calendar.
You bet. Yeah,
Great.
absolutely.
Right.
So we're all golfing, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. We're going to win again?
Absolutely.
Of course we
Sound
are.
like it.
Yeah. It's not that we cheat. Mailbag. Darren, take it away.
Oh yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman. Wait, hey.
All right, we have a brimming mailbag this month. The first one from our buddy Royce Myers down there in South Haven, Star of the Lake.
All right, Royce.
Yay, Royce.
He wants to know, is the festive board a tiled lodge? And what is the difference between a festive board and a festive light board versus a table lodge? So I guess start with the first question. Is the festive board a tiled event?
No, it isn't.
No.
No.
It is
It
not.
is not.
Nope, not even close.
Yeah,
So a
the-
table lodge, if a lodge has a table lodge, that is tiled.
The time line.
And that has to have dispensation to do that. And its intent is different. A festive board is what it is. It's a
Fun night.
festive dinner, and it's intended to be fun and enjoyable. Fun's the right word.
And
Certainly
non-Masons can
enjoyable.
attend that, right?
Hmm?
Non-Masons can attend. Festive board to appoint, or
Well, yeah, I
Can it
mean,
be
there's a
modified?
point in it where you say all who are not Masons, please
Please
be
leave.
excused. Yeah,
Yeah.
please leave. But it's not a tiled event. There have been a lot of dinners over the years where, they've opened it up to spouses and that kind of thing. So I'm not going to get into that. But
That's
it-
where the festival light board
Festival
comes
light
in,
board's
where you
in, yeah.
allow
Is that
other
right?
people in, non-Masons in, to enjoy the festivities. There's nothing in a festival board that is secret. Nothing that we don't. Everybody knows anyway. So there's nothing there that we shouldn't be able to do.
Correct.
Right, but it is not tiled.
okay. A couple of people have asked. We had a BGP meeting here about a week and a half ago, and it's cropped up. A couple of Masons want to know, can any Mason attend the BGP meeting?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It likewise is not tiled.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
The president could probably call for a private if they
Right,
wanted to,
yeah.
but I don't know that that's
Yeah.
ever happened.
Executive session
Yeah,
if
so-
necessary.
But it is open to all Master
It's,
Masons.
in fact, it would be good for someone to come and see what a BGP meeting does. They may
Oh,
be
yeah.
interested.
Correct.
That's
Oh
where we
yeah,
get people.
they're talking high excitement there.
Oh yeah, that's thrilling.
Oh yeah, that's one of the
Highlights of
highlights of my year. It really is. Yeah. So, no, I mean it. I always enjoy. I learn something. It's good
Yeah.
to see the guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great group of
Yeah.
guys. So it's an enjoyable outing.
Bob, they spent 20 minutes on the size of the pin.
They did, and that was a bit of a stretch, but it's their meetings, not mine.
All right.
yeah.
Our buddy Chuck Garrow up there in Cadillac has a couple questions.
Chuck's starting to get a reputation.
Mm-hmm.
He sends us in almost as much as Royce. He just
He's-
hasn't done it as long.
They're
So
kind of neck and neck.
they're getting in there, aren't
Yeah.
they?
So in the opening of lodge, the secretary says, in recording the proceedings of the lodge, transmit a copy to the Grand Lodge if required. So he wants to know, when would that happen? When would a secretary be required to transmit any of the proceedings to the lodge, to the Grand Lodge?
If there's anything there that needs the Grand Lodge attention,
So Form 2 certainly does those kinds of things.
yeah.
Financial, criminal. If they're preferring Masonic charges, there's stuff
Correct.
Yep.
that we should know. If somebody has committed something nasty, and they want the Grand Master to deal with it, I suppose we need to know that. 990s,
990, yeah.
the annual return, all of those things that have to come back to Grand Lodge.
Yep.
Would be required.
But that's what they're talking about. In some cases, if the Grand Master or one of his designees is becoming involved in some Masonic offense or some question of Masonic jurisprudence, sometimes we need the lodge minutes to review those for an accurate, review of what took place at the meeting. So those could be required. I think it's to Bill's point, it's whatever is required at any point in time. Meaning basically that the stuff the secretary keeps, might someday show up someplace else.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why accuracy is important. Attention to detail is important.
You're right.
Your minutes are a reflection of the actions taken at
Yeah.
a specific meeting. And while I don't think we really think about it very often in our current role, we all constantly look at proceedings from 100 years ago, from 120 years ago, from 130 years ago, from 150 years ago. And the attention to detail in those minutes is what helps us, set our future direction and make good decisions today. So,
Correct.
lodges that are sloppy with minutes and that can happen where we just don't think that it's very important. It's very important downstream, as and to keep stuff that's just of value. Lodge trestle boards, programs for an event. Today they don't mean much, but 100 years from now or 150 years from now, those things are what are really important to people who are looking back at what we did. And I just think that it warrants an extra 5 or 10 minutes to make sure that it's done right. Put them together, staple them or whatever, put them in a 3-ring binder and just set it aside. And I like paper. I'm a paper guy.
Yeah.
Meaning, when we started computerizing the lodges. It was done on a 3.5-inch floppy drive. Try to find something today that can read those.
Yeah.
Then we went to a magnetic tape. Try that. And then it went to a CD, and then it went to a DVD.
Right.
Try any of those, and on and on and on. Paper's still paper, and it's good stuff. So,
I had the opportunity to review some of the minutes from the 1920s of our lodge, and those minutes included what kind of a day it was, how
Yeah.
the weather was
Yeah.
that week, what was going on within the community.
Yep.
There's Jack Opperman, who was the secretary, he's now the treasurer of Vassar Lodge. In his newsletter, he put in what happened 150 years ago, and he has a reading of what happened
Yeah.
in the minutes 150 years ago.
I'll tell you one of my favorite stories. I won't tell you which lodge it was, but for some years I had been going to a lodge back when I was BGP, and that was 1,000 years ago, I might add, when I had a horse, and I went to lodge, and the lodge secretary would read the minutes. And I always thought the minutes seemed a bit odd, but, I'm not from that lodge. It wasn't mine, so I just didn't bother with it very much. Didn't realize for 6 months he had been reading the minutes from the same lodge meeting, but 100 years earlier. Nobody in the lodge even knew it. Nobody even knew it. So what finally kind of did it in was, and today we turned on the electric lights for the first time. And when he said that, then the guys started to think, we turn the lights on every month.
Yeah.
But yeah, so even the guys in the lodge didn't know it. But there's a lot of fun, a lot of good stuff in those old minutes. So anyway, all right, enough of that.
I remember in March, I can't remember the exact date, but March of 2020, we had a Master Mason degree at Alma with a visitor, another candidate from Joppa, and we had one of our biggest turnouts ever. There was almost 60 people there. And I was secretary at the time, and I got a text. I got my phone buzzed during the degree, and I looked down, and it was an alert from ESPN that the NBA had shut down operations and because of COVID. So when I did the minutes, I put a note at the end of the minutes that said, on this date, the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a global pandemic, the NBA shut down, and lodges around Michigan would not meet in person for another however many months it was.
That was a long
so
time.
100 years from now,
Yeah.
our Alma Lodge guys will read that and
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
what the heck happened that night?
Yeah. That's what I think will be impactful somewhere down the road. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, another one from Brother Charles. What is the process for getting permission to perform an outdoor degree, and is the Master Mason degree the only one that can be performed outdoors?
Well, the lodge would inform the Grand Lodge office of where they want to, so we would need an address of where they want to go. And the Grand Lodge office will inform the Grand Lecturer to go out and make sure it can be tiled. You have to be particular on what degree you want to perform at that outdoor degree, because that's how the dispensation will read. So you could do an EA if you wished, or you could do a fellowcrat, but you have to adhere to whatever the dispensation states.
Or you need the dispensation before you do anything.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
But the Grand Lecturer will get in touch with the Secretary of the Lodge, and they'll set up a time. If he's already reviewed it and it meets the requirements, we're okay.
Right.
But if he hasn't,
Previous site.
If it's a previous site, it's okay.
right. But if he hasn't done that, he needs to review the site and just make sure that it can be tiled. You don't want it in the middle of a cemetery or something. So.
All right, and then the last question may be different for each of you. This is from Charles. For our wives, what is the Masonic penalty for not introducing our wives at Masonic events?
Whatever she wants.
That's right. Right. She sets it.
It's never happened with me.
Oh.
I know Pastor and Master Judson was very careful about that because Mary had,
Diamonds.
Wow.
diamonds and fur. Yeah.
You wanted diamonds.
So he was very cautious
Yes.
about it. He usually did it first so he wouldn't forget.
Yeah. Well,
She
at
was
Prince
watching.
Hall event, I introduced all of them. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know. The Grand Masters, I think, are on the hook for something though. They didn't introduce their wives, did they?
He
No.
did not.
No, they didn't.
So I took care of it. Thank you. You're welcome, Grand Master. All right.
All right, that will close up the mailbag. If you've got a question for next month, shoot me an email at dthompson@grandlodgemi.org. Right
Thank
there.
you for everything, Darren. Thank you. Our audience of 1,000. Thank you. Minus 998. Ben, thanks. Tom and Bill, as always, thank you for being here.
Great
Our
to be
pleasure.
here. Great to be here.
Enjoy the spring. It's supposed to be warming up, so
Yeah.
get the sticks out. We're ready to go.
I played once.
I hate you. So he played once already. How the hell do you? Oh, all right. See you next time on Trowel Time. Bye bye.
Good night.
Homage to Sweden.